All right, and welcome into this week's episode of Play by Play. I am your host, Andy Horton, along with my co-host, Jared Bergstrom. And, well, Jared, we are in episode number 51, and we're still in the NBA playoffs. So I guess I'll let you get started, and then I'll go a little later.
Well, we were going to start talking about previewing the conference finals, but I kind of want to get your take on Boston from Game 7.
I mean, well, I think I said in here in our last show that, well, I know that I said that Tatum was going to drop 45 in Game 6. That obviously didn't happen. But then I'm pretty sure we came back in, did another show last week, and in that show I said, all right, since he didn't get it in Game 6, he's doing it in Game 7 because I felt like the way he ended Game 6, he was just on a heater, and it just felt like, you know, he finally got into his groove. Well, Game 7 drops 25 in the first half, 51 in the game, setting the Game 7 record, which, you know, was just set about 2 weeks ago by Steph Curry at 50. But he breaks that record, gets it up to 51, and my, he was just on fire, like, from the jump. And you could tell, like, he was exercising some demons that he had picked up over the last few games out there. I mean, he was attacking the rim. He was playing great defense. He was making great decisions on both ends of the floor. And what really made me excited is that specifically early, he wasn't settling for shots. I think he might have taken 2 jumpers in the first quarter. Like, almost everything was at the rim. He was attacking the glass or just attacking the rim, like, relentlessly. He only took 3 3-pointers in the whole first half. He was 1 of 3, and then it was like something went off in the third quarter because he was like, I'm just gonna shoot all of them, because he came out and I don't know how many he hit in the third quarter, but he was at least 3 for 3 early in the third quarter.
Finished 6 of 10 in the game. So.
Yeah, and then shooting, like, period in the game, he was 17 of 28, which is 61%, and then, like you just said, 60% from 3. I mean, he was just on fire. At one point, he was shooting 65% from the field. He was 13 of 20, which is just sensational. It's hard to put it any other way, but it was the best game of his career. Mm-hmm. And, you know, my favorite part of the whole game was, it wasn't the 13 rebounds, it wasn't the 5 assists, it was 0 turnovers. From a guy who set the all-time record for turnovers in a playoff run last season. He turns around, has no turnovers in what is virtually a perfect game. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know how it gets much better than that. You don't have, like, QB ratings like you do in the NFL, but I think everyone knows a perfect quarterback rating is 153.8. If you had a quarterback rating for Jason Tatum that night on Sunday, I think it would have been perfect. I mean, just from start to finish, he was lights out. So, I mean, can't really say too much more about his performance. He was just amazing. I guess I'll go and I'll talk a little bit about the Sixers. What have I been saying about Doc Rivers and James Harden since Game 5? Specifically, why I thought, even though it hadn't looked good in the series for Boston, mm-hmm. why did I think that they were going to come back? Because James Harden is horrible in closeout games, and the same can be said for Doc Rivers. 17 and 34 in closeout games for Doc Rivers since he won the title in Boston.
And that was what,
08? So 15 years ago. I mean, like, Doc, it's hard to say that he's not a really good coach, but I don't know, he's had a lot of trouble getting over the hump in recent years, and he's now 0 for 5 in his last 5 Game 7s. And, you know, I'm not trying to hate on Doc Rivers, because I really do like Doc Rivers, but he says it all the time. It's a make-or-miss league. It's a make-or-miss league. It's a make-or-miss league. Well, the way I kind of look at that, doesn't that take a little bit of responsibility away from the coach? Because you're just saying, well, there's nothing I can do about it. They're either going to make the shots or they're going to miss them. And it's like, I don't know. I feel like you have to have a little more accountability. And then you hear in Joel Embiid's post-game press conference that, he needs more help and this and that, and everyone still has to get better. And it's like, bro, you're the MVP. You had 15 points in the closeout game. You let Al Horford
shut him down.
Abuse you for most of the series. Joel averaged,
especially the last 2 games.
Yeah, Joel averaged 33 points a game through the regular season, and I don't know what he averaged in this series, but well below that. And I know that he's dealing with a knee issue and all that, but it just him, Harden, Doc. It just seems like everyone on their team seems to shrink in the big moments, and I don't know. It's I get that they fired Doc. I feel like that was needed, especially after James Harden's comments. Doesn't sound like he wants to play for Doc anymore. But I don't want James Harden on my team if I'm trying to win a title. I don't think that's going to work. So at least that's just the way I look at it.
Bench him for the closeout games.
But you pay him $30 million. You can't. You can't afford to. Literally, you cannot afford to not play a guy like him, even though he almost never shows up in the big games. So yeah, there's Game 7. That was a lot of fun.
So we'll get to that when we start talking about the conference finals. So first, let's start with the West Coast. And now these numbers are not. This didn't include last night's game. I did this graphic before the game. So looking at it before we go talk about last night's game between the two, it's kind of an even series going through the 4 games they played in the regular season. The home team won both games at home, or the home team won every game at home. But it's virtually percentage points differing between, points per game. LA averaged 0.8 more points, shooting percentage 0.7. 3-point, I was surprised that Denver shot the 3-point or the 3-ball well against them in the regular season. And then you had the free throw percentage too, which, with how many free throws that the Lakers took in the regular season matchups, which was 105 in 4 games. And they only got 75%. You would have figured. Look how many times the Lakers got to the free throw line against the line in the Warriors game.
Mm-hmm.
It was almost averaging 40 trips a game.
Which that is just insane. How are you supposed to slow that down? When there's so much, when you're scoring so many points with the clock stopped. That was a really tough series for the Warriors, and it's just they just didn't have the physicality really to be able to hang with the Lakers. I feel like the numbers on this series are a little deceiving because the Lakers have the best defense in the league, and it's by a long shot. But these games happen. Some of them happen before the trade deadline. Some of them happen after the trade deadline, and
I think 2 were after. 1 was after the trade deadline.
Right, and that's when this Lakers team really started to come into form and change things. When they were able to go and get D'Lo and bring back Jared Vanderbilt, go get Rui Hachimura and Malik Beasley, going and getting guys like that really help. Not Malik Beasley, because Malik Beasley's not a huge defender.
I was about to say, did he even check into the game?
No, he didn't. No. But he's played a lot for them in the second half of the season. But anyways, when you're able to go and get all those guys to help fill out the rotation, it's going to take time for the defense to really solidify and everything. Mm-hmm. But boy, did the defense really take shape in the second half of the season. And so, watching this game last night, it was weird because the Nuggets scored 70 points in the first half. I mean, they were flying all over the place, and the Lakers. The lack of defense on Denver's part is going to keep the Lakers in this series. I mean, there was a couple different times where I was like, "Oh, dude, this thing is over." Like when at the end of the third quarter, when Jokic takes that step back, the 30-footer, and I mean, he stepped back like 2 whole feet. If he didn't take that full step back, that thing would have been blocked by AD. Mm-hmm. And he goes and he does. And hits that insane shot. I mean, that was a rainbow from way out. And then a few minutes into the fourth quarter, Murray trying to find an opening against LeBron, shot clock running down, and LeBron is draped all over him, looking like Miami Heat LeBron, like the type of defense he played on that possession. Mm-hmm. And Murray just throws it up and just a prayer, and it just was smooth as silk, man. But, like, how Jokic had one of the greatest games I've ever seen. 34, 21, and 14 assists with 2 blocks. A guy who's not really supposed to be that good of a defender still got 2 blocks for him. Murray had 31 last night. Caldwell Pope had 21. He's been hot this series. Bruce Brown had 16. I'm not saying that Denver can't continue to score like that, but you can't expect that many points out of KCP every night. You can't expect 16 from Bruce Brown. Mm-hmm. Aaron Gordon kind of had a quiet night, only with 12. But
I know. I figured he would have stepped up a little bit because he had Vanderbilt was guarding him, I believe.
Yeah, but Jared Vanderbilt is one of the better defenders on the team. Like probably the second best defender on the team full time, because when LeBron wants to lock in, LeBron is still that guy, but he's 38 years old. He's getting up there, so it's like you have to pick your spots on when to lock in. But so the Nuggets shot 55% from the field last night, mm-hmm. and they won by 6.
Well, what was is that I don't know why. Was it Mike? Is Malone there?
Yeah, I think it's Malone.
Why did he have both Jokic and Murray off the court to start the fourth quarter is beyond me. I know you were up, 20, maybe not quite 20, but you were up, and then you just saw that lead slowly dwindle. It's like, okay, you got to get at least one of them back in, and then I think they got it to 10, and it's like he finally called a timeout. It's like, dude, you got to be more aggressive. You have 4 timeouts left. And it's like you got to use those because you can't let the Lakers. I mean, you saw Reeves; he hit 3 straight threes and made 3 straight threes in there, and they scored I think 12 points in a minute and a half. The Lakers did, and it's like you can't let Miami. You can't let Los Angeles get hot like that, especially from the outside, because I don't think Denver has. I think Denver's better defense is inside the arc.
Well, I mean, and that's actually the thing about Denver. Like, if they're going to win the title, they're going to do it through offensive willpower. It's not like they can't play defense. KCP is a good defender. Aaron Gordon, pretty good defender. And then between Jokic and between Porter, they have good length. Mm-hmm. Their team is built with guys who should be able to play like above average defense, but they just kind of play run of the mill defense. It's nothing special. Bruce Brown, nice defender off the bench, but I feel like and Jeff Green, he can always come in and do things. He had a quiet night last night, only 3 points, but and then Thomas Bryant, which we'll have to see if he gets much run in this series. Mm-hmm. I have a feeling the only way that he'll get a lot of minutes is if Jokic finds himself in foul trouble, which that would be interesting. See Thomas Bryant, because he was traded by the Lakers earlier in the season. It'd be interesting to see kind of the effect that he could maybe have on the series if he has to play a lot. But yeah, like I said, it's just like Denver played stellar offensively last night, and it was still a 6-point game when the Lakers played pretty well, but D'Lo was 4 of 11, only had 8 points.
Yeah, thanks for that, Russell.
Schroeder only had 6. Lonnie Walker didn't really have like a very good game.
Lonnie Walker.
A lot of guys who have been having
the Warriors series did not show up last night at all.
Right, a lot of guys who've been playing really well for him here lately didn't really show up too well. It was the 3 stars, and then it was Rui, and dude, the Nuggets are in trouble if Rui can keep knocking down shots, because you saw in that fourth quarter that when they switched him onto Jokic, man, it started making life tougher on him, because then that makes it so AD can more play, center fielder. He can
go and help out.
Just play center, and he can, go and erase things around the rim more often than just, you have to be on Jokic wherever he is, because he can shoot it from distance. He can, he's got a killer hook shot.
Ball pretty well too in the playoffs.
Yeah, no, he can shoot it from anywhere.
It's like Jeff, was it Van Gundy was announcing it last night?
Yeah, or no. Yeah, it was Chef, my bad.
He was talking about when he was talking about that switch that the Lakers made, putting Hachimura on Joker, but it's like, if you're the Nuggets, you've still got to try to work and screen AD out of the paint, and it's like they weren't doing that at all out of down the stretch in that final game or final minutes.
Well, and like they're gonna have to get Aaron Gordon to be more aggressive offensively, if that's how the Lakers are going to play it, because like you said, you have to get AD away from the rim. He's too good of a defender, the best defender in the league. He's too good of a defender if you just if you're just going to let him sit down there. It was almost like a way how Boston didn't make Embiid work that much on the defensive end. I felt like it in the Boston series. So what did he do? He just sat down there, and for the most part, anytime the Celtics tried to just go at him, they just blocked it away, made it look easy. Mm-hmm. I mean, you gotta make the big men move, make them be more mobile, because it's harder for them to play defense. And we'll go back to the Celtics in Game 7 real quick. You could see that with Jason Tatum when he was attacking the rim relentlessly in the first half. Embiid had like a couple blocks, but then there was 5 or 6 times where Embiid was there, but he wasn't there on time to try and stop Tatum, and that's what got Boston going and kept them in that game until the avalanche hit in the third quarter.
Yeah.
But so yeah, they're gonna have to get Aaron Gordon. He shot 0 for 3 from 3 last night. That he's not the greatest 3-point shooter ever, but that he'll normally knock down 1 or 2. He shot 34% from the field, or from 3 this season. So you're going to have him knock down 1 or 2 of those, and then just, like I said, be more aggressive, period, on the offensive end. I mean, he only had 12 points. He only took 9 shots, but this guy was an all-star a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. So I really like the team that Denver has and everything, but if Rui can knock down shots and actually guard and be on the floor and be able to guard Jokic long enough, man, that'll make life a lot easier on the Lakers.
So what would you think if the Lakers started Hachimura? I mean, yeah, he's fine coming off the bench, but I mean, there was a few games down the end of the regular season he started.
Yeah, I think it would be smart to keep bringing him off the bench, because, well, now that you kind of know that Rui can guard Joker, maybe not the most effective all the time, but he did a good job last night. Now that you kind of know that he can do that, that makes it so that AD doesn't have to be in the game with the Joker the whole time, because that's how things went last night. If the Joker was in the game, AD was in the game. AD played, it looks like, about a minute less.
42 and 42, so they were.
Yeah, he played about 36 seconds less. So, I mean, if you can afford to maybe buy Anthony Davis a couple extra minutes, where does that make your defense better in other parts of the game, at other times? Does that make your defense better in the closing minutes of the quarters, or whatever it is? I don't know, but I think as much as you never want to lose game one of a series, I feel like that almost feels like a win for the Lakers because, like I said, the Nuggets shot 55%. They're firing at all cylinders. Murray's not going to be hitting shots with LeBron James draped over him all series long. Is he going to hit a few of them? Yeah, sure, maybe.
No, he's not going to put up 31 a game either.
But, yeah, and, you can't shoot 55% for a whole series. So I think the Lakers are probably in pretty good shape, even after the game one loss.
See, I was going to say, if for the Lakers to win, I know they had that huge comeback at the beginning of the fourth last night, but I think they need to keep this as low a scoring as possible. Because, if it's low scoring, that means Joker's not putting up, I don't know, how many shots did he take last night? 17. Dang, he only did it on 17. So, if Joker's not outscoring you, I think you have a better chance to win.
I don't know. I would actually probably disagree because when everyone gets involved, that's what makes them so lethal. He had 34 and 21 last night, but it's the fact that Caldwell Pope and Murray gave you 52 between the two of them, and then you got another 27 between Gordon and Porter, and then Jeff Green didn't have a good night, but like I said, Bruce Brown had 19 bench points. If they can just play defense a little better on everyone else, make it so Jokic doesn't have 15 assists, make it so maybe he has 8, that's a lot less rhythm for the other role players to be able to get in. And I think that the whole key to this series is literally just if the Lakers are going to be able to slow down Jokic. And I think last night they found a little nugget, I guess you can say. They found an extra chess piece that they can use to try and play against him with Rui. But like I said, that hinges on him staying effective offensively, because if he's not knocking down shots, at least in a game like last night, he can't be on the floor.
Right. He was what?
He was 8 of 11. Yeah.
So yeah, if he's going to be like a 3 for 10, they ain't going to keep him on the court. So it's like then that's going to be putting AD in there almost the whole game like he was last night. So do you have a prediction for the series?
I think after watching last night's game, man, I feel like it could be Lakers in 7. I want to pick the Nuggets. I feel like, it should finally be their year, because they've dealt with all the injuries. Everyone's actually healthy this year. But the Lakers didn't even play that well last night, in my opinion, specifically on the defensive end. They said they let up 132 points. And yeah, AD gave you 40 and 10. And so, the defense is going to have to be better for the Lakers. But, like I said, are all those role players for Denver all going to show up every night? I think it's hard to say that they will. So, and LeBron, he didn't have a bad night, but he didn't have a great night either. 26, 12, and 9. Wow, he almost had a triple-double, and that's a great night for most people. But, I would think that the later into the series we get, and the later into the later rounds of the playoffs we get, we'll see more old school LeBron. The bigger numbers could start to come back.
And really, there was 2 things I think I could say that. The last possession for LA, it's I don't know. It's like they drew it up, and it's like I don't even think they knew what they were doing when they came out of the huddle with. It wasn't Joker, but was that Porter who might have got a hand on it on the deflection?
I was at Jeff's open mic last night, so I don't think I saw the very last possession.
But I mean, LeBron missing 3 free throws definitely changed what to draw up in that last 10 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like LeBron has been one of the better free throw shooters. I don't know what his career stat line is from the free throws, but it's like
it's actually not very good.
It's not very
only
good.
Around 72%.
But I think in the playoffs, I think it even drops even below more than that. And it's like it came out again last night. It's like a couple years ago, I think it might have been, well, when Harden was still on the Rockets. So
He's actually shooting almost a career high this year, up to 66%, or 76, almost 78%.
But I mean, if it comes down to crunch time and you got to put LeBron at the line, it's like, it's like I'll pull out a Doc Rivers. Either you're going to make it or you're going to miss it. It's a 50-50 chance, and it's just like in the playoffs, it's like LeBron doesn't shoot well from the free throw line in that kind of pressure. Not saying that he won't make them all, but it's just like, I think one last night, it's like he overshot it, hit the back of the rim, and then overcorrected and it hit the front of the rim. It's like,
yeah, one of the few critiques that I actually do agree with Skip Bayless on about LeBron is that the guy does not want to shoot free throws in crunch time, which I get it. You know, they're not easy. You know, you're standing there all by yourself, the whole crowd looking at you, and
millions of people.
And if you're in Denver, you know, like you got 20,000 people cheering for your failure. But yeah, like I feel like LeBron has. I don't know how he's improved on everything else in his career. He just never improved on free throw shooting. But yeah, that I wonder. The whole series could come down to that. Like the Lakers are going to get to the line more, but is AD going to knock down 11 for 11 every night? No, but he is plus 80%. LeBron shot 72% from the line last night, and it's like if you're shooting 8 of 11, that's pretty good. But I mean, I don't know if he gets a game where he's shooting 16, 17 free throws.
Makes 10. That's 3 possessions.
Yeah, you're losing a couple more free throws. And to be honest, the Lakers didn't get a lot of free throws last night. Only 26, and those 3 from LeBron were the only ones that they missed. They only had 3 guys shoot free throws last night.
Yeah, it was AD, LeBron, and Reeves.
Yeah. So they're gonna have to be more aggressive. That's a little shocking that Rui didn't take any, considering he only took 1 3. But hey, good night for him.
Now, see, I think LA just came out of a physical series with Golden State. Their defense is the best in the league, but it's like Denver's offense has been the best in the playoffs. And I think if push comes to shove, I think Denver's offense will be able to go around their defense.
I mean, we'll have to see because the Nuggets had 106 points through 3 quarters last night, and then they were able to. The Lakers were able to kind of batten down the hatches a little bit and only gave up 26. Like the Lakers' offense just got off to too slow of a start in the first half. I mean,
and Denver went complacent in the fourth. At the beginning of the fourth, it's like Denver was just. It's almost like an NFL team trying to run the clock out at the beginning of the fourth quarter. It's like you got to still run your offense, your normal offense, even if you're up 18-19. Because, I mean, Reeves went on a 9-0 personal run by himself. And it's like that cut the lead to 10. And it's like you can't be giving up that in less than a minute and a half.
But, like, that's kind of what I'm saying about, like, the Lakers' offense isn't nearly as good as Denver's. But the fact that, like you said, Austin Reeves just went on a personal 9-0 run like that, I mean, yeah, I guess Joker or Murray could do that, but I feel like it's a lot less likely with how great of a defense, the Lakers do have. So, I don't know. They say that defense wins championships. I guess we'll see. Because if the Lakers are going to win,
It's
going
gonna
to be
rely on
on
their defense.
Yeah, it's going to be on the back of their defense because they're going to have to find a way to slow down this team.
And see, I think.
But like another thing, if the Nuggets can't play better defense, they're going to let the Lakers stay in these games. Mm-hmm. The Lakers scored 126 points last night. I mean, well, go ahead.
It was evident last night, but I think this series is going to be more physical on the Lakers than what the Warriors.
Way more.
Because, I mean, you saw how many banging and body there was in the paint, and it's like, yeah, it's good that the refs are going to let them play through that, because if not, you're going to have probably 6 people foul out by the end of the night. But the last thing about last night's game is, and Jeff Van Gundy hit home on it, is when the Nuggets got that turnover in the last possession and threw it up court, and Pope stopped, didn't go up for the layup, and then it's like he passed it out to Joker and they fouled him and he went 1 of 2, and it's like Van Gundy's like, that's why you finish. Even if they give up, you don't give up, because you don't know. I mean, That's why you should take the layup, because you at least get the 2 points. Because what if Joker would have missed both, they hit a 3 and got fouled shooting it, then it's a 1-possession game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's something that my uncle, he's a huge basketball fan and everything, but he hates watching the NBA nowadays because it's like, he was texting me during Game 7 against the Celtics. He was like, how many times is James Harden and the Sixers just going to pass up wide open layups? Yeah, sure, they're wide open threes, but it's a layup.
Take the layup and
it's a free too.
I don't know what the score was in the final of that game, but it definitely would have made game 112-88. Yeah, maybe. But
I just wish they could have made one more layup. I would have won like $200.
Did you have the over?
I had Celtics in the over. I needed 202 points.
There was what, 200?
200. I literally needed 1 bucket. So, yeah, there you go.
So, speaking of the Celtics then, I guess we can go ahead and talk about the Heat Celtics, Andy, and, well, we'll just let you take it away here first.
Well, this is a series I'm not excited about. I've been saying since we started talking about the NBA this season, this is a series I have not been looking forward to at all, because the Heat just play Boston so well, and like
it's so even.
Wow, that is really even.
Except for the turnovers, Boston I think has definitely got to tone down on the turnovers.
This is
against
against Miami.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. The turnovers is one thing that's going to scare me. I was just raving about how Jason Tatum has had how in Game 7 he was great, didn't turn the ball over at all. And just generally, him and Jaylen Brown, they both had over 100 turnovers in last year's postseason. Both of them way tighter with the ball through the first 2 rounds this year. So that makes me really happy. But like I said, the turnovers kind of go up against this team. Miami, they play really good defense. Spo, he's the best coach in the league. At least for right now, because now that Doc is going to get Wemby, we'll see what happens. Or I said Doc, but now that Pop is going to get Wemby.
I was about to say, what, you
my
got
bad.
some insight from Woj that we don't know about Pop retiring?
No. I just made a Freudian slip. But anyways, yeah, Pop could retake that mantle now that he's got arguably the greatest prospect in league history. That's going to be on his team here in the next month or so. But, yeah, like I said, this Heat team, dude, they play Boston well. Spo, he knows when to make defensive adjustments. I mean, he will just randomly look at Jimmy Butler and it's like, all right, we're playing zone now. And then for the next 5 possessions, they just play zone, and then it just throws off the other team's offense, because it's like, when you're able to switch so easily from man to zone, it messes up the rhythm, because you're not, in the zone, or if you're playing man, it's easier to drive the basket and attack creases and stuff. In the zone, you have to
Get through the zone.
You have to get through the zone, and then you have to find the open shooters. And, like, Miami, they are just great at playing that zone. So I think that can give Boston trouble. I've had some people who are not Celtics fans try to talk me into, like, you guys will have them in 6 easy. Or you guys should be able to sweep them. I was talking to a guy at the gym yesterday, and he's like, yeah, I think Boston will sweep Miami. I'm like, bro, have you watched any of the last 4 playoffs? It is not, even when Boston has beaten them 2 of the last 3 times. It hasn't been easy.
There was at least 2 of them went 7, didn't they?
Yeah, no, for sure. It was not easy. They were grind out, like, as physical a series as you can get without either team having, like, real big men. I mean, because, like, Al Horford is a big man, but he's a shooter. He's just turned into a shooter at this point. And I can't remember the last time Al Horford took a shot from inside the arc. And then, yeah, Bam, he's not your traditional big man. He's a good...
He's your big man by default on this team.
Well, I mean, like, his size isn't great, but he is a good rim protector and everything. He is a great defender. It's just that, you know, Bam wouldn't have a chance against an AD or a Jokic. Like, he doesn't have a chance to defend those guys who are actually 7 foot tall or taller and are elite offensive players. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's a concerning series. I guess I'll let you go, and I'll give a prediction in a minute.
I think this series is going to revolve around Adebayo and what Adebayo does. I mean, are you going to get the Adebayo in 3 out of the 4 games this year? He had 19 or more. Actually, no. He scored more than 20 in every regular season meeting this year between the two. So it's like, are you going to get that Adebayo, or are you going to get the Adebayo that put up 6 points in that last game against New York when they or the second to last game in New York when they could have closed it out, and he put up like 6 points on. It was horrendous shooting. Mm-hmm. So it's like.
Well, and so then I think something that's going to be really important in this series is, does Boston stick with the 2 big lineup from Game 6 and Game 7? Because I think, like, yeah, do we match up the best that way against Miami? Not really, but I think we need to. Last season, throughout the playoffs, Boston had the best defense in the playoffs and only allowed 88 points per 100 possessions, which is literally exactly what happened in Game 7. I mean, like, we gave up 88 points, and they played great defense the whole time, made things tough on Embiid because, like, yeah, Al is still guarding him, but then you have that extra guy in Rob who can come over and just make you think about it, you know? Like, the guy can jump out of the gym, and when you got a guy who's 6'10" behind you who's going to jump to try and block everything, you're just going to be thinking about it. So I think Boston needs to stick with the 2 big lineup. The defense was way better in the last 2 games of the series than it had been throughout the first, we went 6 games against the Hawks, and then, so the first 11 games of the playoffs, the defense was, like, miles better.
And it's like, I think it was Doris Burke who said it in the Game 6, with you putting Williams out there, it allows Horford to move around and try to defend not necessarily their best offensive player, but who they go to, like, in the second
Well, in a weird way, it makes Boston more switchable, because it's like, yeah, Boston only had 1 big man to guard in Embiid, but like, Horford and Williams they can both move their feet well. So, like, do you really want an Al Horford on a wing? Not really, but if you get switched into that situation, you're also not in panic mode,
right?
Because he, like I said, he can shuffle his feet. There was a couple times in the Hawks series where he got switched on to Trae Young, and he just said, "All right, let's go, buddy." And you see him get deep in that stance.
Out the 3-point line, he's under 35% shooting.
Yeah, I think it was sub 33%, sub 33. Yeah. We'll talk more about Trae Young in a different episode.
I've been riding Miami in the playoffs, and it's just like they beat Milwaukee in 6.
Yeah, I think.
They beat New York in 6. So it's like the math tells me to take Miami in 6. But Butler's going to have to virtually play like that game, not have to put up 58 points like he did in that game 5 against Milwaukee, but he's going to have to probably put up at least 30 and 10, I would say, every night to at least try to help keep Miami in it, because I mean, like, you don't know what you're going to get with Adebayo, you don't know what you're going to get with Strus and who's the other starter? Martin, the other starter. And if you're Miami, I guess you want to try and hold on to see if Hero can come back. He's projected to come back, they said, towards the end of the conference finals.
Yeah, how many weeks has it been since that injury? I'm gonna look it up, because we're getting close to that time.
To Tyler Hero coming back, and if Tyler Hero comes back, that I think will definitely throw a whole nother loop into it.
1 day ago from the Miami Herald, no return close for Tyler Hero. Woo!
They could just be saying that to mess with Boston.
I don't know. It's the Miami Herald. It seems pretty legit. But he is traveling again. He is in Boston right now. So, it looks like Oladipo is also going to be out tonight. So, that's something else about Miami. They have been banged up all season long. And I mean, they almost have players who are used to being banged up too. Like Kyle Lowry, when has this guy not been hurt over the last 5 years? He's always dealing with something. And then Victor Oladipo, good Lord, the guy just can't get out of his own way. Like, every time you turn around, Oladipo's hurting himself. I forgot Kevin Love is going to play a huge factor in this series. He's going to be able to help stretch out the Boston defense for Miami. And, man, I hope that Al Horford can just try and keep up with him. Knock down a couple of threes a game, because Al really struggled in that last series. He got things going in Game 7, knocked down a few threes, but he was kind of struggling. But so you said Miami and what? Or are you not going to take Miami?
I'll stick with Miami in 6.
Wow. I'm not super shocked that you took Miami, but Miami in 6? Wow, okay. Well, guys, I can't wear any of my Celtic stuff on our show because we got a green screen in here, and so you wouldn't be able to see me. But yeah, I'm going Celtics in 7. I hope it doesn't take 7, but the Heat are good at playing like the Celtics. And a lot of it, I feel like a lot of it has to do with the fact that last year, Ime, first-year head coach. This year, Joe Mazzulla, first-year head coach. And it's like, it's not easy, to coach a team to a NBA Finals or to conference finals in your first year. And there's been a couple times with, where people have really started to question some of Joe's decision-making. Just hope it doesn't come back to bite us in this series specifically. So
it's like Miami wins and are in the games that are not supposed to be, and then like games that you expect them to be close, it's like they just dominate. So it's like, and like you said, it's Joe's first year head coaching. Is it a full year? Did he take over? Was he from the beginning?
Yeah.
Okay.
Missoula.
I just, if it comes down to if it's close games in every series, you would rely on your head coach to put you in the better spot. And I just think Spoelstra has been here many times. Won what? Team won 4 championships?
Nah, they only got 2. Only got 2 in
Oh, that's
from
right.
LeBron.
That was
Yeah.
Pat Riley's last year with Wade and Shaq. Mm-hmm. All right.
And Spoelstra's first season coaching was, I'm pretty sure, was either the year before the Big Three got together or...
I think it was the year before.
Yeah, because I think a couple years ago was the first time a first-year head coach got to the finals in the first year. But, so Heat in 6.
Heat in 6.
Wow.
You took Boston in 7.
All right, then.
What did you say about the West? You took the Lakers?
Yeah.
I didn't know if we said...
Lakers, I think I said Lakers in 7. It feels like that's where it's going to go. And, I was talking to one of my buddies as we were watching the game last night, and he said, I hate this saying, but he said, well, the series doesn't start until home team loses. And I'm like, if the home team never loses, then the Lakers lose the series. So, sure, that I guess you can say that's true, but it's also a stupid saying.
Well, the home team won every game in the regular season meeting, too.
So...
I took Nuggets in 5.
One of my and that's something else that I didn't understand. One of my friends is trying to act like the altitude doesn't matter. It definitely matters.
Does. Don't you see every time they play in Denver for football, the opposing team has oxygen tanks and stuff on the sideline?
Well, that and I don't know if you remember this. Ryan Clark couldn't play in Denver.
Yeah,
because he has sickle cell, and I don't really know that much about the disease, but
I think he ended up playing once towards the end of his career. I think he got to play once.
I don't think so. Because I looked it up yesterday because I was talking to one of my other friends about it, who was a Steelers fan. I was like, yeah, I don't remember who, but one of y'all's corners couldn't go and play against Denver or whatever. And I looked it up, and it was Ryan Clark. So
do you want to talk about the draft lottery, or you want to talk about head coaching vacancies first?
It's up to you. I mean, I'm happy about how the draft lottery played out.
So it's evident that I said his
Wembanyama.
name. Yeah, I drew a blank there. I could say it off camera, but yeah, Wembanyama is going to be a future Spur. That's their first lottery pick since Kawhi, isn't it?
No, he wasn't. Kawhi was a 15th pick in the draft.
So was it Duncan?
Tim Duncan.
Oh my.
Yep.
And they won the championship his second year?
Yeah?
All right.
Hang on. It might have been his first year because they already had David Robinson.
Okay. Yeah, then I think it was there. It might have been his first year then. Then you had Charlotte with the second pick. Portland won the third pick. Houston 4. Detroit 5. Orlando 6. Indiana 7. Washington 8. Utah 9. And the Mavericks round out the top 10.
He was drafted, so it looks like it was his third year. He was drafted in 97, I believe. And they won. Yeah, he was the first pick in the 97 draft. And then they won in 99.
So it was his second year.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
So there you go. Bet on it now. San Antonio wins the championship in 2 years. Not next year, but the year after.
Man, I'll tell you what. Have you really watched any of Wembanyama's tape?
I saw a little bit. And I mean, the dude he's tall, but it's like, I want him to see him put more muscle on before the season starts.
No, for sure. He's 7 foot.
What did you say, 7'3"?
Okay. It depends on where you look. He's listed between 7'2" and 7'5".
FIBA's 7'5".
Yeah, okay. So he's listed, well, I guess we'll just call him 7'5".
7'3", we'll just meet in the middle.
230 pounds. Which when we started this show, I weighed more than that.
But you're not 7'3" either.
That's true, yeah. The guy's numbers are absolutely insane. He only averaged 21 points a game this season, but he only well, right. And then 10 rebounds, 3 blocks a game, another steal plus a game. The guy, he's kind of struggled from shooting it from the outside a little bit, but I mean, when you're 7'5", like,
put some more muscle on him, and he don't have to worry about shooting it outside. And
no! You're crazy, dude. He's gonna be Kevin Durant if he can stay healthy. He's He's going to have an offensive game like Kevin Durant. He just so happens to also play defense, like have the ability to play defense like he's Akeem Olajuwon. I mean, like, the idea that he's not going to be bringing the ball up all the time and shooting lots of jumpers, nah, he's gonna. I feel like he's gonna play a lot like KD. Just his defensive upside is so much higher. The guy can pass. He can do it all, dude. Like, and I said it earlier. Widely considered the greatest prospect in the history of basketball. I've heard a lot of people say he's the best. I've heard a lot of people say that LeBron still beats him out a little bit. But what a night for Spurs fans, which, for those of you guys that don't know, I am a Spurs fan as well. They are my second favorite team. And already have Keldon Johnson there. Devin Vassell, played really well. Yeah. And that's something else. The Spurs have done a great job with guys that aren't lottery picks, developing them. Tony Parker was like the 29th pick or something. Manu Ginobili was a second rounder. I already told you. Kawhi was a 15th pick. Keldon Johnson, he was another 29th pick. And then Devin Vassell, I don't remember what exactly his pick was, but he wasn't a top 10 pick. So, like, the Spurs are great with developing anybody. It almost doesn't matter. Then, for the third time in the franchise history, they go and they get the number 1 overall pick. Well, the first 2 times it was David Robinson, the Admiral, and Tim Duncan, 11th. The big fundamental. 11th?
Vassell was 11th.
Okay. So, it's a high pick, but, like...
Not a lottery pick.
But, and a lot of high picks still don't start paying out. The guy's scoring 18.5 a game, like last season.
So we know Wembanyama is going to go number 1 unless... I don't even know of any freak accident thing that could happen.
He would have to tear all of the ligaments in both of his knees.
No, I'm just talking about
for there to be any chance.
Just to trade out.
Oh no!
Yeah,
no way.
So who's 2?
I mean, you heard the guy on the lottery last night. As soon as they announced that Charlotte had the second pick, he was screaming because everyone knows the level and the type of a game changer that Wembanyama is. Number 2, I've heard a lot of. It seems like it's probably going to be Scoot Henderson, who he played for like the G League Ignite or whatever. I don't really watch the G League, so I will have to really dig into the tape here in the next couple weeks while I'm preparing my mock draft because got to make one of those. And then probably 3 seems to be like it's going to be Brandon Miller to Portland. Actually, I've heard I got a notification from Bleacher Report earlier today saying that it is believed that the Trailblazers are going to try and trade out of that pick. So what are they going to get for it? I don't know. Maybe a player or a couple players, I guess. But, it feels like the top 2 are pretty much locked in, and then after that, there's some question marks.
Yeah, looking at one now, the top 3 you said, it seems like in agreement. Then you have Amen Thompson from, I think, was he G League as well, or was he overseas?
What does not say what team?
It has their logo.
Oh, hang on.
He plays with, is that his brother, Sir Thompson?
Oh, so they play for the overseas elite.
Okay.
And I think they're. Yeah, nah, they're brothers because I'm looking at a video where they're standing next to each other and they are identical, just about. So. Definitely related. Oh, and then maybe we can throw this picture up on the show and post edit. But
okay,
yeah, definitely brothers. But yeah, Amon seems like he could also be a top 5 pick, and then maybe how would you say that? Osser or
I said a Sir.
Okay,
But who knows? Overtime elite.
He's probably going to be
Where they play.
He's probably going to be a top.
They have him in the top 10 too. They had him, I think it was
Right.
one was 3 and one was or
Did
one
I say
was,
overseas elite a couple minutes ago?
Yeah, that's a
TBT.
team.
Yeah, exactly. My bad. I've been getting ready for that too. Getting ready.
Come back to Dayton. I can't wait for that again.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. But
So I guess real quick, head coaching vacancies. There's only, I think, 4.
yeah, because the Bucks, the
You got Houston,
Philly, Houston.
Detroit, Milwaukee, Philly,
Oh
Phoenix, Toronto.
yeah, duh. I forgot about Toronto. So I think we're probably going to have some guys who haven't coached in a while come back.
I've seen Frank Vogel's high on.
I've seen a lot of.
The one
I'm not a Frank Vogel hater, but it's
I'm
like
not either. But I mean, his playoff record is 49 and 41.
Is it? Wow, and that's even with LeBron.
Just for one, though, wasn't it?
Still.
Yeah. Well, he won the title that year with LeBron, so. I'm definitely.
I'm sure that means that without LeBron, it's sub 500, right?
It'd have to be.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see if the Raptors hire Becky Hammond.
Oh, didn't she leave the Spurs like a year or so ago to be like
she's
a
WNBA
higher
coach.
assistant?
No, she's a coach in WNBA for the
Okay.
Las Vegas Aces.
Okay.
But when the Raptors season was over, they wanted to talk to her immediately, and she said, "No, my season's just now starting. I'll talk to you when I'm done."
I feel like it's not gonna happen then. Like, no offense, Becky, but it's like if you're gonna be coach, we need you in here now. So I feel like
be done by the time I think the actual draft comes around.
Is WNBA season that short?
I think it's only. Let me look.
I am looking like a poor basketball fan right now. But anyways, like I was kind of saying, I think we're going to see some guys that we haven't seen coaching in a couple years come back. You got guys like Mark Jackson, who I've seen some whispers about.
40 games.
Other teams have an interest in.
I saw that
in him, and then
Milwaukee. He's like at the top. I
can't understand why Jeff Van Gundy doesn't have a job. Guy's a great coach, good announcer. I can't remember the last time Stan Van Gundy coached a good team.
Which one are you talking about, Jeff or Stan?
Stan.
Okay.
Did I say Jeff the first time?
You said Jeff. I was like,
sorry. I don't think Jeff is very good at either announcing or coaching. I was a much bigger fan of Stan.
I don't even know where. Let's see. You got Detroit. He's interviewed by. Or Emi has interviewed with him already.
Yeah, Ime.
But from what it looks like right now, it looks like Milwaukee and Phoenix are just going to flip coaches. With how many times they both interviewed with the other already.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's necessarily the best idea. Like I said, I would go and I'd get a Mark Jackson or a Stan Van Gundy.
Though?
Since he got fired from
Golden State. Oh my God!
That's been a while, but I mean,
all right.
I don't know what his career winning percentage is, but I'm looking at Stan's right now. It's 56%. He coached Detroit for 5 years, and it looks like he won over 50% of the games while he was there, and that was when Detroit had like Greg Monroe and DeAndre Drummond. He was there in Orlando with Dwight.
121 and 109 is Mark Jackson's coach.
He actually hasn't coached that much. Wow, I didn't know he was only coached for like 2 years or something like that, maybe 3.
Three,
yeah.
Wasn't.
Whereas you go and you look at Jeff, he's won 56% of his games, and he won 554 games versus 425 losses. So, I think they should. I think one of those teams need to go and pick him up But maybe I'm crazy. I don't know. I'm not in the league, so maybe I don't know anything.
But I think that's going to do it for this week's episode of Play by Play.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the new YouTube channel. And like I said, share it to all the platforms for us. That'd be great. Thanks, guys.